I've always struggled with my weight, from high school to college to my young adult years and now. It's even more difficult being part of the wine industry where you're always around great food and wine. Last year I ballooned up to 235 pounds and I decided it was time to make a change. Throughout the first half of 2021, I dropped over 30 pounds, all while still doing my work around wine. Here's how I did it, and I know if I did it, you can do it too. That's all coming up. I've really had body issues my entire life. I think that stems back to the fact that I always used to play basketball. I was always around really tall guys with long limbs, lean, athletic. Not only did I have body issues when I was younger, I don't think I was really taught how to eat properly when I was a child. I come from a farming family. My parents always fed me well, but whatever was put in front of your plate, you shoveled it in your mouth because you're going to go out to work a little bit later in the afternoon. I think that built an unhealthy relationship with me and food. And as I got deeper and deeper in the wine industry, and I found myself visiting different wineries all the time on different trips, going to a lot of dinners, tasting events. It was really hard because there was always great food. Last year was tough on a lot of people, me included, and I really let myself go. Got up to about 235 pounds, 107 kilograms. I looked terrible. And I realized I needed to make a change. Got myself down to about 205 pounds, and although I'm not exactly where I want to be, I feel a heck of a lot better about myself, how I look, how I feel, and I'm really optimistic about the future. Here's how I took off all that weight in 2021. And before we get started, I have to let you know that I am not your doctor, so if you're looking to take off a lot of weight, make sure you advise your physician before you start any kind of program, especially some of these extreme tips. The first huge step, and the one that people don't want to hear a lot of time, is all about mindset. And number one is acceptance. I used to always be frustrated about my body, that I wasn't 6'4", 6'5". Took me a number of years of playing basketball to finally realize that's not my body shape. That's not what I'm ever going to be. Even though I had these illusions of grandeur that I would have a really late growth spurt, never happened. I also used to get frustrated with my lean friends or other people around that seemed like they could eat anything and not put on any weight. I used to get so frustrated. If they can do it, why can't I do it too? I'm getting to the point to realize, hey, you know what? My body, my physiology doesn't metabolize food that quickly. So that's not who I am. I had a roommate in college that barely worked out, and it seemed like once he did 20 push-ups, his arms got huge and he got a six-pack. That's not me though. Gosh. Last year, as I was gradually starting to put on weight, I could really start to feel it, but I really ignored it. I didn't want to get on the scale. I didn't want to face the facts. I think my video about the Coravin pivot back in November really opened my eyes. When I saw that, I thought, oh my goodness, what the heck am I doing? The next step is making a choice that I wanted to start losing weight. And a choice is completely different from a decision. A decision means like you're on the fence. You're going back and forth. Yes, I could lose weight. Yes, maybe I should. The difference between that and a choice means, yes, I'm gonna do it. But intellectually, that's one thing. You need something emotionally to anchor to. Yes, it sounds good. Yes, I should be more healthy. Yes, I'll look a little bit better. Intellectually, that sounds good, but you need something that's really gonna drive you to start taking action. And for me, it was simple. I'm single again. For you, it might be different. Maybe you just want to feel healthier. Maybe you want to get out there and play with your kids without losing your breath. Maybe you want to get back to start playing some of those sports that you used to play. Maybe you just don't want to get snide comments from your friends anymore. For me, another powerful tool is fasting, both intermittent fasting and straight fasting. Intermittent fasting is when you eat in a small window of time period, and then you're fasting the rest of the day. You actually do some form of intermittent fasting when you're sleeping. Think about breakfast. You're breaking the fast. You're fasting while you sleep. In this technique, you just expand that fasting window. There's a lot of science and everything behind it. I'm not going to get into the deep dive. I found it works for me most efficiently is at least 16 hours of fasting and then eating within an 8-hour window. What happens is your body starts to break down all your stored glucose and your fat cells, and it starts to use that as fuel. Intermittent fasting and fasting is great because not only are you burning off stored fats, you're also limiting the calories going in, which is ultimately the formula for weight loss. Calories in have to be less than calories burned. You just gotta make sure you're hydrated during this entire process because you go through a lot of water. This can fit into a lot of people's lifestyles because sometimes you just have to skip breakfast. Obviously, the longer you can go fasting before you eat, the better. When it was the most effective for me is when I was ending around 6 or 7 p.m. at night and then start eating at 10 or 11 the next morning. But here's the problem with warm weather and being in the wine life. I don't like drinking during the day, not even with lunch. I just don't like how I feel. the sun has to be down. Then something happens in my mind physiologically and I enjoy the wine better, and the alcohol doesn't really get to me. The only problem is during the spring and the summer in the northern hemisphere and wine growing regions, it doesn't start to get dark until a little bit later, sometimes 9, 10, sometimes even 11 p.m. in certain countries. So I definitely have had to balance that, drinking a couple glasses of the wine in the evening. There's always a point where you're enjoying the wine and then you realize you're just drinking to drink a little bit. To realize where that point is, stop immediately. And then straight up fasting. I've done 3-day fast before. My goal is try to do a 5-day one. I was trying to do a 24-hour fast at least once a week. I have to admit that I haven't knocked that out of the park. I haven't disciplined myself fully to do that. The thing I love about intermittent fasting, you get into a certain point where your body is just burning the fuel it's stored, and you really start to get this mental clarity. It's when I've done 3-day fast before, I get on this high and this mental clarity that I can't even explain. Right now I'm on 17 hours of fasting and I feel great. That's why I wanted to shoot this video. I know there's some nutritionists that are against fasting. For me, it's real simple. There's a reason that a lot of different religions, a lot of different societies have integrated fasting into their religion, their spirituality, their routines for mental clarity, for getting closer to God. Exercise. When I was a little bit younger, exercise was fairly easy because I was playing basketball. Even before I left my old career, I was playing basketball about 3-4 times a week, and then I would go to the gym, and my whole motivation about going to the gym was to perform better in basketball. When I started to notice my game slipped down a little bit, I didn't want to play anymore. It's just something I didn't want to do. So obviously now I got to start finding different ways to keep exercise fun. And I hate running. I hate it. But during 2021, when I made the choice I was going to start losing weight, I wrote down every single day how long I wanted to run for, or if I was doing sprints, hill sprints, or running, and made sure I did it, checked it off the list. I also travel full time, so it's difficult to get into a routine or get into a gym membership. And during the early part of 2021, everything was closed anyway, so I made sure to do things at home. Simple things like just doing 100 push-ups a day, making sure to plank, just finding any excuse to get your body moving. A huge thing for me specifically when it comes to food and wine is I'm tasting wines all the time, realizing, hey, I don't need to drink all these wines. I don't need to finish them. There's great wine today. There's going to be great wine made tomorrow. I'm going to taste that great wine tomorrow. Food too. It's especially tough for me when I go to places like Italy because I love Italian food. I love being there. But realizing, hey, I'm going to be able to eat this stuff again. I don't need to finish or gorge myself, and that takes a ton of discipline. Some people have it. Some people need an accountability partner. Myself, if I put my mind to it, I can do it, but I need to write it down. I write things I want to accomplish down every day in my phone. At the end of the day, I make sure that I put victory, I check them off. This might be incredibly difficult for you, so if you're somebody that needs an accountability partner, ask your friend to help you out. Better yet, maybe a friend that wants to lose weight or get healthier too. And you gotta realize it's a journey. There's a law of peaks and valleys. If you look at a sine wave, there's a top and there's a bottom. There are times when I'm feeling good about myself. I think, oh wow, I'm really doing well with this routine. So I'm at the top of the peak, I feel great. I'm gonna order something late at night to treat myself. Go back down. Weight loss results are gonna go up and down too. It's not a linear thing. I think the key is taking that baseline of those peaks and valleys and inverting it. Finding out ways, different strategies, different ways you can write things down. Maybe you're taking a picture of yourself, looking at it every single day to make sure you're not getting too high, you're not getting too low, and that baseline is inclining. So your weight loss is continually improving and your health is going up as well. And it's tough. You're gonna have some slip-ups, but don't beat yourself up over it. So yes, being in the wine industry is really difficult for somebody like me. And if I want to keep doing it long term, I got to make sure that I really take care of myself. And I hope you do the same. I wish you success in your weight loss and health journey. I'd love to know, how do you manage weight, your health while being in the wine industry? Is this something that you want to tackle? Or do you have this tackled already? Maybe you can help me with some tips and tricks. Drop it in the comments below. And if you like this video, I'll leave something up here that you'll absolutely love. Cheers.